It's a pleasure to have you here. This is your election headquarters. Let's start off with some election-related news. Some youth in the Edura-Setro-Dumasi constituency are taking action as they speak out against exploitation by politicians who use them to create chaos during elections. Together with the traditional council headed by Nimfahine Nana Ose Kojo Ansibie II, they've started what they call a door-to-door flashpoint sensitization. With 975 hotspots, the Ashanti region, a stronghold of the governing NPP, tops the list in the country. From the Edura-Setro-Dumasi constituency, Inshira FM's Malik Ewuku has a report for our series, Safety for My Vote.
Leader of the youth group, Abubakar Sadiq, said they are moving from door to door, involving information centers and community-based radio stations to campaign for peace. They're also feeding the police with viable information for prompt action.
We as young people are very worried whenever the name of our constituency gets in the news for bad reasons. We would like to show the world that elections are not a matter of war. So if someone belongs to party A and the other person belongs to party B, it doesn't amount to creating violence. It's about sharing ideas and supporting the police. Our utmost responsibility has to do with providing them with a lot of information.
Some 50 flashpoints have been identified in the Edura-Setro-Dumasi constituency in the run-up to the December 7 election. As part of activities to curb violence in the constituency, a peace walk was organized in the area with the youth in active participation. Speaking on behalf of the Traditional Council, Nana Kojo said there have been several meetings with the police, political leaders and other stakeholders to douse the flashpoint scare.
I'm happy it's being organized by the youth because at the end of the day, you don't expect that I will carry a club or a machete or maybe a stone. It is the youth who are going to be organized. So I always want to plead, I say plead, that for their own sake and for the sake of their country, they should stay calm, exercise their responsibilities, exercise their duties as a civic citizen, but please, devoid of violence and insults. So we call on the leadership, political leadership. Yes, talk to them. Yes, convince them, but don't misuse them.
Meanwhile, the police say security has been beefed up in the area ahead of the December polls. Municipal Police Commander DSP Philip Kojo Hammond says other exercises are ongoing to allay fears.
Because it's a flashpoint, we are firmly on the ground. Together with the sister security services like prisons, fire, immigration, customs, and then military, they are going to augment our strength so that we'll be able to face the task ahead of us.
The Edura-Setro-Dumasi seat is among 3 constituencies in the Ashanti region currently occupied by the opposition NDC. The others are Sawase and Setra Front Plains.
And here at the Multimedia Group, we stand for peace, and I'm sure wherever you are, you also do same. So please spread the message. Peace must reign in this election. Well, this morning, the security services comprising of the police, armed forces, prison service, National Fire Service and Immigration Service, as well as the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the National Intelligence Bureau, that's the NIB, and the National Ambulance Service, and the National Commission for Civic Education, all embarked on a nationwide route march. The exercise, codenamed Tafia Lafia, which is Peace March, is to reassure the public that security services are prepared to provide the needed security for peaceful elections and also to encourage the public to support peace. We'll be touching base with our correspondents, but first, listen to IGP James Opombuenu speaking to his men just before the march in Accra.
We are doing our duty. This march is not meant to intimidate anybody, but it will show everybody that we are prepared to protect all the citizens, all the residents, and also to protect the ballot. What we expect is for you to be professional, to attend to your duties, but be sure that you are fair. You should not be intimidated by anybody, just as you are not intimidated anybody. And therefore we expect that at the end of the day, like we have done before, we are capable of policing this election. And therefore I ask all of you to put in your best. I thank you all for your attention. I want everybody the very best, and we hope to see you here in a couple of hours. Thank you.
So this was right here in the capital, Accra. Let's head to the northeast region. Ilyasu Tanko is our man there. Hello, Ilyasu. Tell us how it went down in the northeast region. Hello, Ilyasu.
Hello, Benny.
Hi. I suppose the march is still on because I can hear sirens blasting in the background there. Tell us what's happening where you are.
Well, the line is open, but if I can hear you, you're asking about the march that is currently ongoing in the Northeast Regional Capital. We have about close to 150 security services currently marching through the streets of the Northeast Regional Capital, Nalirugu here. If you follow, quite recently there have been some rising violent crime in the region ahead of the elections. And in this region, we have close to 60 hotspots that has been identified by the security services. So what is currently happening right now in the regional capital? Police, the security services are displaying their readiness. They are sending strong message to all people who are planning to cause confusion in this particular elections. They are saying that they are ready to police this particular election. And so as we speak, dozens of them are currently marching through the streets, displaying their weapons as well as, and in all, displaying their readiness ahead of this particular election.
Ilyasu, you spoke about hotspots there, and that's a focus on constituencies as we prepare for the elections, and we've called that safety for my vote. But tell us how citizens are responding to the march. Too bad we lost Ilyasu there. I was just asking him to paint a picture for us how people in the northeast region are responding to the march as they see the armed forces, police, and all the other security fully clad. Well, he spoke with DCOP Kodrain Tritebi, who is Northeast Region Police Commander, earlier.
Services in the Northeast region, and we are here today assembled to go on a route march, codenamed Operation Tafia Lafia. And the essence of the route march is to show the force that we carry and to indicate our preparedness, commitment to ensuring security before, during, and after the general elections. We want to indicate to the public that we are united for a purpose of ensuring security as security services comprising of the Ghana Police Service, the military, the fire service, the prisons, the immigration, as well as the ambulance service. And as you can see, we are displacing our arsenals as well, our vehicles, the various type of weapons from the military and then from the police. We are going to embark on this route march through the capital, that is Narigu, the capital of Northeast, and is to assure the general public that we are going to be firm on the ground so that they can go about their voting on that day, campaigning before that day peacefully. And also to send signal to warn miscreants, any hoodlums who will be mischievous on the election day, who will attempt to snatch any ballot box or to disturb at the polling stations, that we will deal ruthlessly with them. And so we want to give the assurance to the general public that with our presence, we are going to ensure a peaceful elections. Yes.
That was DCOP Kojo Enchi-Tebi, Northeast Region Police Commander. I hear we have Ilyasu Tanko back on the line. Hello, Ilyasu. Before the line dropped, I was asking you to tell us how residents in the Northeast Region are reacting to the presence of security services there.
Well, this is the first time that the security services are carrying out this kind of exercise. And so many residents are surprised. And a lot of them are currently thrown to the roadside watching as the security services, the security personnel display their weapons and send their message across. And so residents are currently on the street. Some have also decided to follow the security services through this march. And it's just a surprising thing for many of them, because this is the first time that they are seeing the security services doing this kind of exercise in the region here. And
finally, before you go, Ilyasu, beyond the march, is the police going to be doing any other thing to try and reassure the public of their readiness to deal with any violence, that's if any arises during the elections? Hello, Ilyasu, can you hear me?
Yes, Benita, I can hear you.
Yes, I'm asking you to tell us what the police is hoping to do beyond the march in assuring the public that they've got everything in control.
Well, the national, the NCT is here, and we understand that they are also, from here, they are also going to help the police to disseminate the information. The police, we understand, also be holding some stakeholders engagement, speaking to the public, and try to tell them to stay away from trouble on election day. They are also, as we understand, going to collaborate with the Regional Coordinating Council to hold community engagement, to be able to tell the people, to give them some security tips, the do and don't on election day. So from here, from the march, the police will be doing intensive citizen engagement.
Believe it here, Ilyasu Tanko is a man in the Northeast region, and you heard him there basically telling us what's happening there with regards to the march by security services and the National Commission on Civic Education, the ambulance service, and many others, all in a bid to promote peace ahead, during and after the elections. This is your election headquarters, and we head to the Bono East region now. Anas Abit is there for us. Hello, Anas. Earlier this week, we brought a story on safety for my vote from the Bono East region. Tell us how residents are responding to this march. Hello, Anas.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, I'm asking you to tell us how residents are responding to this march.
Well, for the people here in the Bono East region, this is the first time they are witnessing something like this. So they are very impressed and surprised with the numbers who sent out to send a signal to the people about the readiness of the security agencies to solve the election. You know, this is being held at the various regional capitals, and since the creation of the Bono East region, this is the very first time the region is going to witness an election, and so they've never seen anything close to this. So for the people, some of the people who've been speaking with, they are happy with the readiness of the security agencies, and they are hopeful that this will send signals to troublemakers who may want to commit trouble on December 7th.
I would ask you the same question I asked Ilyasu a while ago. Has the police and the other security services in the region told you what they hope to do beyond the march to ensure peace?
Yes, what they are telling us is this is one of several activities they would want to embark on before the elections. And also the regional commander, the acting regional commander, DCOP Janochi, told me that on the election day they are going to ensure that people who are going to comment trouble, like I said earlier, are going to be dealt with. And that is not to serve as intimidation to people who may want to come and then catch their ballot. So the public should not see this as a sort of harassment or intimidation on the part of the state agencies. But just to let the people know that they are ready for the exercise, and they are also going to provide security for people who may go out there in their numbers to cast their ballot. So this, according to the police, is one of several activities they may be embarking on before the election day.
Thank you, Anna. So let's head to the Volta region now. Ivy Setaji is there for us. And Ivy, the Volta region has been in the news lately with regards to issues focusing on elections. When we had the voter registration exercise, there was quite a lot of news coming from that region. Tell us what's happening with regards to this march.
Well, what we have seen so far, we have about 500 security personnel comprising of the military, the police, national service, and others. These people are saying that they are well prepared for the election, and they will do everything possible to make sure that there is peace in the Volta region before, during, and after the election. Right now, we are waiting to have them interview. That is the commanders of the military and then the police, as well as the NCCE who organize the program. There will be any at the police headquarters there. We can have them interview. For now, we are heading towards the market, and then through the market, we'll get to the police headquarters. So the march is ongoing and it's smooth, and the security services are ready to make sure that there is peace during this year's election.
Yeah, Ivy, sometime in August, there were some attacks by persons believed to be secessionists, and there are concerns that this group could foment trouble during the election. There's also the concern by some residents that the presence of armed police and military men may intimidate prospective voters. Have you been able to pick a reaction from residents on this march? Does that allay, or does this activity allay their fears in any way?
Yeah, residents are actually, especially those in the southern part, Accra, the Ketu South, to be precise, are not happy about the fact that there's so much military presence. They are saying that these areas are peaceful, so they don't want a lot of military presence or security presence. They said they are willing to make sure that there is peaceful elections, so they want government in a way to withdraw some of the personnel so that they can have less of that. But for now, what is happening as in the march, seeing the security services marching for peace and ready to make sure there is peace, residents are happy about that, just that they don't want to be intimidated by the security personnel, especially the military and the police during the election.
Thank you very much, Ivy Setaji, there joining us from the Volta region. And I know that a lot of you are watching us via social media. I've seen all your comments. Some of you think all the police does is to talk, and you expect more action. During our bulletins and subsequent bulletins, we'll have more time for interactivity. But the National Commission for Civic Education and the Ghana Police Service is calling for peace in the Account constituency ahead of the December 7 polls. And as part of the 261 hotspots in the Ashanti region, I believe, according to statistics from the Ghana Police Service, the two institutions made the remarks at a town hall organized by the Catholic Bishop Conference in the Jasikan Diocese on the role of the parliamentarian and district assembly in development. Correspondent Peter Senu, that's rather in the OT region, has the rest of the story.
The town hall meeting meant for 4 parliamentary aspirants saw only 2 make presentations.
I'm committed to build 8 vocational training centers in the district. Mr. Chairman, electricity, all communities in the district will be connected to the national grid.
Ghanaian youths are not lazy, but successive government only talk about the youth when it is election, but when the election is over, they forget about the youth. Ghana Union Movement will support the youth in agriculture and supporting them in any skills they choose to improve upon themselves.
The National Democratic Party and the Ghana United Movement candidates availed themselves. The candidates for the 2 largest parties, the NDC and the MPP, did not attend. The two present, however, made presentations covering all sectors of life of their constituents. The candidate for the MPP, Rashid Bawa, was represented by the District Chief Executive, Maxwell Asiedu.
He is also talking about seeing to the welfare of you and I, which means that we are going to live well. His plan is that, and he has even started lobbying so that KASEC will be turned into university in the Oti region.
The candidate for the NDC, Yao Gomado, sent a letter requesting for his absence. The failure to attend all these important programs by the two major party representatives, patrons and organizers have described as disappointing.
Today's program has been very successful, but my only concern is the absence of the MPP and NDC parliamentary candidates. I think their presence would have added more color to the program, as it has to be now.
Very disappointed because, you know, they are the people everybody is expecting here. Now that they are not here, you could see that even the people, the audience are not many. If they came, they would have come with masses of their supporters and this place would have been full up. So I'm very much disappointed for they not coming here.
The district police commander for the KGB district, Michael Asiedu, assured constituents there would be peace and no intimidation as a result of police deployment to the constituency.
I can assure you there will be peace before, during, and after. Nobody will be intimidated. Nobody will be allowed to put fear in anybody, and nobody will be disenfranchised. We will all get up on 7th, go queue and cast our votes. And I pray, come December 7th, Ghana will succeed.
The district director for NCCE, Daniel Agbesin-Lachu, called on constituents to ensure peace prevails before and after December 7 polls.
KGB has been identified as one of the flashpoint constituencies in Ghana. As a result of that, NCCE is currently educating the electorate on the need to tolerate each other's view and also to accept each other's view, no matter how the circumstance. So we want to take advantage of this and appeal to Ghanaians to tolerate each other's view, so that at the end of the day, you all be a happy people in Ghana. Ghana is the only country that we have. If this country should be on fire, then we are in a hell.
Peter Sanu for Joy News.
And with 11 days to the elections, President Akufo-Addo is optimistic of victory and has charged followers of the NPP, especially in the Greater Accra region, to ensure the party achieves its target of winning 28 out of the 33 seats and the presidential poll. He wrapped up phase 1 of his Greater Accra region tour with a mini rally at East Legon in the Ayawaso West Wogan constituency. Addressing the crowd, the president said his main opponent, John Dramani Mahama, cannot be trusted to deliver on the promises he's making.
Onipa meneni si akan the man panyi dada John Dramani Mahama onamomanum and all shebo say oba obey say hey Mahama unya foforo ma ye Ghana ya hu sanu ho adwuma de dawo ya hu de obey ye Wambeye bibi titru bia magana for anutina Ghana for pamo ya ayesa ya de meba You have no record to defend. That's why it's a series of promises and of lies, campaign of fabrication, misrepresentations, and outright lies. And that campaign is crumbling by the day into confusion and failure as you're staring defeat in your face today in Ghana. Yeah, Nancy, waka I am one wapa nature say why desperate ampa. I say senior high school no. I don't know the buy. Na a quiet person no. O the jam in a man so manyan ye. Hey. Now free senior high school buy the free one on the set. And nada. Need to mean yet. Now you better cry 20 years they bet to me aye. And then I said, also what 2 billion CDs are on your school fees. Nene, what's on how they buy? Now the buy there's a formula out the 200 men this so 18 year no. Now I say I'm afraid exams about the best results in a decade. I don't know how can see any year.
The president ended that tour and is starting a 3-day tour of the central region. Elton Brobe is presidential correspondent. Hello, Elton. Hello, Elton, if you can hear me. We know that the president has been reacting a lot to statements made by the former president, John Dramani Mahama, who is also on campaign in the Northeast region.
Yes, Bernice, and indeed, the president took some time to explain that to the market women, especially at Malam, at Odoko, at Aboblosi, and the fact that there's no question about who started the free senior high school program. It was started by him, and he can only take the credit what the free SHS has achieved so far. And for anybody to assume that the free SHS program started in his era, the person could only be, communicating lies and deceit. That's what took on the ex-president, saying that because he is running an uninspired campaign, that's how come he's trying to look at ways to revive what he described as an uninspiring campaign undertaken by the NDC, and that the record is there for everyone to see. And that for that reason, he's very optimistic that the MPP will come on top after the December 7th general elections. And what you see behind me is the presidential villa. The vehicles behind me are the presidential convoy, and very soon we are waiting for the president to get on board, and then the team will now from the central region. The first stop is with the Buram. The president Akufo-Addo, according to the program of things that we have, will spend 3 days in the central region, starting from the Buram all the way to Futu, and then we'll sleep in Cape today. The climax of this will be the president taking part in the final funeral rites of Akufo-Addo, the MP from Fansiman who was killed by some alleged armed robbers. That will be on the 3rd day of the visit to the central region. What I'm hearing from analysts of the president is that they recognize the central region as a very important region. The central region has continually become a swing region. And for the MPP to perform and win the presidency in the central region comes in handy. It's one of the regions where they want to concentrate more attention on win the popular votes, win the majority seats in the central region, more especially when the running mate for the NDC in the central region. So that's how come out of the limited days available for the electioneering campaign. 3 days is devoted to the central region. After the central region will be the western region for just a day, and then to Ashanti region, the stronghold of the MPP for 3 days, and then come back to the Greater Accra region for another 3 days to wrap up the campaign for his second term bid. So it tells you, judging from the times allocated for these regions, you can clearly see where the concentration is, where they are hoping to get more votes, and where they are hoping to get more seats to enable them win the second term bid that the president has been canvassing for since day one.
It's quite an extreme routine, isn't it, Elton? Sometimes the president ending some of his tours at midnight. Tell us how you go about all that.
Well, you are looking at somebody who is 76 years old, and he's always on his feet. He's always talking, and I think that tells you that you also have to double up your steps. Indeed, we are very much aware of what is at stake, and we are very much aware of the responsibility that multimedia especially places on us on the field. We are very much aware of the need for us to come with compelling stories, to always be on top of competition. That's been the driving principle, and that's what has kept us on all this while. Yesterday, for example, when we thought that everything had ended at East Legon, the Yawas West Bowen constituency. We were told that to get ourselves ready for 2 more events, and one of it was the launch of the code for persons who wish to contribute towards the construction of the National Cathedral, and it took place at Alisa Volta. By the time it was over, it was past midnight. And then this morning, information came through, all of you assembled at the Jubilee House at exactly 7 a.m., meaning that we had to wake up at 4. And then we are still here. We are currently moved from the office. We are now at the presidential villa. The vehicles behind me are the convoy getting ready. What we are waiting for is to hear good word. The elephant is in the vehicle, and then we are on the road.
Oh, I see. Well, before you go, Elton, we know the vice president is not traveling with the president, and that's because later tonight we are told that he will be talking to us on the future of the economy. Have you been able to pick up any word on that?
Well, it will be one of the many series that I'm told that will be happening from now to December 7th. And for the vice president, somebody who is an economist who led the government communication on the economy. Tonight's event, from what I've been told, will be for him to lay bare the facts, what they inherited in 2016, what they've done to stabilize the economy, where they are taking the economy to beyond 2021. So we are likely to hear the things about inflation, about the cedi depreciation, about some of the difficult choices that the government had to make, the impact of COVID, and within the impact of COVID, what they've done so far in keeping the economy afloat. And then looking beyond COVID in 2021 is going to be difficult. Some have suggested that because internal revenue may be struggling, government ability to honor some of its obligations will be a matter that may face some challenges. These are some of the matters that we are told the vice president will address. And then when he is done, he, according to the campaign strategy, will concentrate merely in the northern part of the country and parts of the Ghana region. So I'm sure that once he's done, he will fly to the northern region and continue there.
We'll leave it here, Elton. All the best. Stay safe. That's Elton Brobe, our presidential correspondent. They're telling us how rigorous it is following the president, especially in this campaign season. But stay with us here on your election headquarters as we bring you all the updates you need to know. And let's get one quick one from John Mahama's campaign team. He has also ended his tour of the Northeast region. We are told he's currently in the Northern region capital, Tamale. Maxwell Agbagba joins us via phone. Maxwell, how are you doing?
Well, Dennis, I'm doing great. I'm fine.
All right, and I'm sure a lot of people will be wondering why I'm asking you that, because it's not conventional. Well, Maxwell has been with Mr. Mahama's team since the beginning of the week, and they have been doing a lot of crisscrossing in the northern part of the country, sometimes ending their tours as late as 4 a.m., starting from the previous day. Maxwell, give us a wrap of what happened yesterday.
Well, Dennis, the NDC presidential candidate ended his tour of the Northeast region yesterday. In fact, he ended his Upper East region tour with a rally on Wednesday at 4:30 a.m. That was in the Talensi district. Now, just some hours later, I think approximately 6 hours later, he started his tour of the Northeast region. That was yesterday. Sometime around 10:30 a.m. he left his hotel, and then he started touring areas, some very hard-to-reach areas, like the Yakba Kobori constituency. He also visited the Nalerugu Gambaga constituency and others overnight. Now, for these areas, these are like very hard-to-reach areas, so sometimes you could be driving on an untarred, dusty road for like about 2.5 hours. And sometimes it's difficult to reach these areas because as you drive, then the dust begins to cover the windscreen of the vehicle. So even driving there becomes very difficult. Now, when he gets into those communities, he interacts with the chief and then later engages the electorate at open rallies. And this is what he's been doing the whole of yesterday in the Northeast region. So it took us a very long time to get out of the Yakba Kobori constituency. Yesterday, I remember that we got to the Nalerugu Gambaga constituency this dawn, sometime around 2 a.m. In front of the Nigeria's palace. The paramount chief of Nalerugu there there were hundreds of NDC supporters who were gathered waiting for him, dancing to loud music playing out from coming out from the loudspeakers that were mounted there in front of the Nigerian palace. So there he addressed the supporters, and among the things he has been talking about, he's been talking about a university campus for the Northeast region. He has also been talking about sports stadiums for all regions that do not have sports stadia. He has also been talking about a national apprenticeship program to cater for Kai. He has also been reiterating his free SHS promise that if the NDC is elected into government, NDC will not abolish the free senior high school, but rather improve it. And he has been talking about how they will, within 1 year, abolish the double track system. He says that he thinks that the double track system is defeated because parents are still paying extra to get extra education and extra classes for their children. So within 1 year, the NDC, if elected, will make sure they put out more structures to accommodate the huge number. And these are promises he's been making throughout the Northeast region. Yesterday, he left the Northeast region sometime around 3 a.m. Today, and then got to the northern region, specifically Tamale, around 4 a.m. today. Now, some of the people that we met at the airport junction in Tamale told us that they had been waiting since 8 p.m. yesterday when they got information that the NDC presidential candidate, will be visiting. I mean, around 4 a.m. when he arrived in Tamale, it was really difficult moving through a thick crowd and the hundreds of NDC supporters who were in their Mahama, who were on their motorbikes, some of them in big trucks, who were riding along and blowing their vuvuzelas, who followed him all the way to the hotel where, he was lodging. And some of them spent hours there before they left that venue this morning around 6 o'clock p.m. We're told that he's not taking any rest today, but in some minutes, he'll be hitting the ground again, and he's expected to talk some important, constituencies here in the northern region. But what we are beginning to realize, Bennett, is that as the elections draw close up, he is beginning to hit areas where these are like areas where it is difficult to reach the very big communities and interact with the people just to bring their support and get their backing on the disaster.
Right, Maxwell, we'll leave it here. Maxwell Agbagba is with the NDC's presidential candidate as he tours the northern part of the country. We are told he's in Tamale at the moment, and we'll bring you all you need to know. Clearly, you can understand why there's a lot of pressure on the two main contenders, that's President Akufo-Addo and former President Mahama. It's 11 days to the elections, and here at your election headquarters, we'll be bringing you everything as the campaigns get heated and gradually grind to a halt. And then you know how we do it on election day, the very best coverage for you. You're watching News Desk. We'll be back shortly. Do stay. Thank you for staying here on News Desk with me, Bernice Abubedulan. So now the NIT Open Labs Robotic Club, Soliotech, has invented what it calls Ghana's first smart farm. Officials of the laboratory say this is a major technological innovation created to solve the problems of irrigation, lighting, and intruding. On Tech Thursday, we take you to NIT, an IT institute here in Ghana that trains youth from all over Africa in various IT programs. Judith Awachitanda has more in this report.
At an exhibition, the public relations officer of Soliotech, Jane Love, demonstrated how the prototype works in providing irrigation, warding off intruders, and lighting up farms. According to her, Soliotech wants to put a stop to the export of agricultural produce that can be equally grown here in Ghana and around the continent.
So actually, we have what we call moisture sensors that are inside the soil. Of course, this is a prototype, so it's tiny, but there are larger moisture sensors in real life you can use. They are inside the soil, regulating the moisture in the soil. So each plot of plant has its own moisture sensor. For the intruder, we have a PIR, infrared detector. What it does, it detects living things that approach your farm. And then for the lighting, that one is not really practical use, but it's like, okay, in the nighttime I want to work, but I don't really want to pay much bills on electricity. I can have backup lights, which come on automatically when it's nighttime. So for once, we want to make the agriculture industry better, because one of the reasons why Africa is in debt is we keep importing things we can grow ourselves.
Although agriculture has many challenges, Soliotech also seeks to prevent natural calamities. President of the club, Bajam Fesi, explained how robotics can go a long way to solve the problems of flooding and fire outbreaks, which have been some of Ghana's biggest problems.
Other things as well, like flood detectors. We know that nowadays climate change, there's a disturbance. Sometimes it rains a lot, sometimes it rains lesser. So we can at least be able to place sensors where to indicate that, okay, the level of the water is going up, there will be a risk of flooding. So we can at least take measures for that.
In an interview with Joy News, Nima Divisional Commander ACP Abraham Akwe said that if such innovations were supported, disasters like the Odona Market fire outbreak and other major floods in Ghana could be prevented.
I have gone around and also had an encounter with the designs that they have made, the prototype, and I think if they are well advanced or well captured, they will be able to solve some of our problems.
Prototypes displayed at the exhibition were the Smart Farm, Visually Impaired Aid, Smart Parking, 360-degree rotation car, lie detector, smart dustbin, heart monitoring, push-up counter, smart home, flood detection system, gas detector, and the Bluetooth-enabled car. Judith Awachitando for Joy News.
Really exciting to see young people engaged in IT and the world of technology. You're watching News Desk. We'll be back shortly with sports updates. To stay.